now, the views and opinions expressed during RealBlackTalk.com do not necessarily reflect those of the staff.
Welcome, perfect audience. This is Edgar Snowden. You know my twin. You know him from Building 7. You know him from days of yore and gore and all those inconvenient truths of yesteryear. With 2020 hypo hindsight, you will have seen that enlightenment was the antidote for the ghost species. Faster and faster time slows down when you're in the groove, when you foreplay yourself without overplaying your hand. And the invisible hand of the coke cunt, 1% master narrative, official story, the marriage of the Cokes, the brothers, and the Hunt brothers, Hunt family, Terry in particular from Cambridge. Hunt, but not those Hunt, not the Nelson Hunts of Louisiana and Texas and energy fortunes, not H.L. Hunt. No, Terry Hunt lives somewhere up in West Cambridge, off of Brattle Street, of course, in the rich part, in a rich house, with a rich veranda, but I won't say where it is. You can check your GPS, but never mind. He's not my friend no more, Terry Hunt ain't. Not after he missed the last session of the men's group. After 10 years of having a men's group that Terry Hunt and I started, Terry didn't appear for the very last session. I could not and cannot still believe it. Though it was 10 years, a decade ago, if not more. I have a hard time letting things go. But you circle around the stupa, and eventually, if you take enough deep breaths and let the breath breathe you. It's not personal, the breath. As you will see when it stops here at the hospice, the Buddhist artists, hospice for the hospiceless. And that would include Ed Snowden, my bro. I'm not speaking to my bros. My bros Bobby and Gary, both of whom are estranged. I wrote to Bobby, "You are dead to me now." And it's true, he is. I knew he would be, he still is. Even though he helped me out a little bit, but I didn't, did I call him? I can't remember if I called him and said thank you. Did I leave a message on his voicemail? Thank you for helping Al out, et al. Al, who didn't have his own room in Lindaland. We're the intrusive, invasive species, us eukaryotic semi-sapients. We're here now. So let's make the best of it. Let's make the best of the last of the Holocene here in the Hansen Transom Transition Transit. James Hansen called it 1988. And right now we're working on a hockey stick model of Michael Mann. And it's all Y2K now. It's all urban legends of Building 7. And JFK being murdered from Dealey Place. And the SS CIA, USS of A, USSSAR, Submerger. Submerger of the Putinisk, no Obama, no drama nation. No drachmas either for the Grexit from Griftopia. You take a deep breath and you're in Denmark drawing cartoons of the prophet. Scandalous cartoons. Je suis Charlie Hebdo Mener. Je suis Z magazine. Now there's a good magazine that Michael Alpert, I know Michael Alpert because we used to play touch football in Radcliffe Yard together. And he knows Noam Chomsky, so I only have 1 degree of separation from Noam Chomsky, so you should all listen to me. But check your own syntactic structures at the door if you're accepting the co-cunt. 1% master narrative official story. Koch brothers and Hunt brothers, the co-cunts. 1%. Here we are at the mainstream monoclonal monoculture of Monsanto and their story of invasive species which they're going to save the world from by spreading Roundup Ready and neonicotinic seeds. You take a deep breath. The war criminals are in charge, the Monsanto war criminals and the Entergy Pilgrim Plymouth war criminals. And the spent fuel pools. That Entergy has 60 years now that it's decommissioned right there at Plymouth Pilgrim. Gone out of business, Plymouth Pilgrim. 60 years they got to clean up the spent fuel pools. No hurry. They'll leave them in Holtec dry casks that crumble, but they won't crumble before I'm dead. So why should I care? What we leave to the great-grandchildren, Plymouth Rock irradiated, is what we're leaving. And Indian Point and Diablo Canyon and GE Mark I Yugo reactors with 400% capacity spent fuel pools. You take a deep breath. When you see what risk they put you at in the upper Big Branch mines when you go underground, in Futurama, with Matt Groening and all that sewage, potty jokes, porta potty jokes, and portmanteau words. Where's JJ now that we really need his portrait of the young moo cow? Moo. Does a dog have Buddha nature? Moo, mo, fo. Fo, fo, fo. The Brady Bunch beat the Colts 34-27. In case you didn't know, in case you've been under a rock all day and you don't know that the Patriots beat the Colts. And other trivia. I bet you don't know Brittany. I bet you haven't heard about Brittany and Angelica and Jolie Jolly and Bon Jovi and Bob Dylan. It's almost time for Woodstock. You take a deep breath. You wonder about Woodstock and women. I'm wondering if Grace Slick's gonna be there, or Gina Lola Brigida, or Bridget Bardot, or Britney Spears, or Milli Vanilli. You take a deep breath. And you wonder if Grace Slick is gonna sing Surrealistic Pillow, White Rabbit. One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. And the one that mother gives you don't give you anything at all. If I make it to Woodstock, I reckon I'll be doing good. Given that Steve McBurnett dropped dead, my friend Steve McBurnett, before we could reconcile. My 2018 valedictorian 50th reunion, 1968, it rained on our commencement. But in 1968, no one thought we'd be thinking about extinction 2112 50 years hence. Extinction 2112 for sure, for real, could happen. I'd say there was a 50-50 chance, except for maybe some bottleneck last refugia in the quilted multiverse of the double beta decay neutrino Coke Hunt 1% master narrative official story. How did life begin, you wonder? And how will it end? And will that be extinction 2112? Howl That's all you can do. Dig it. Beatnik, Bubameister, Bibi Netanyahu, Natan the Yahoo in East Jerusalem, torturing ghetto survivors like shooting fish in a barrel. It's sad, not sage. I burn the sage for being Jewish, and I hold my rabbit's foot, my pet rabbit, and my schnauzer turds. I stepped in a schnauzer turd today at Marcel's. Oh, it was, but I don't want to talk about stepping into the deep doo-doo, reading the New York Times today, the picture on the front page, walking through Sid, Serbia, near Srebrenica, people walking in the rain with blankets. They didn't have no winter coats, just blankets. Where did they all get those standard issue gray blankets? It was so sad to watch those immigrants from Syria and Iraq and Eritrea. An Eritrean was killed in Jerusalem, sort of by mistake, by a lynch mob of people who responded to someone nakedly rumoring that Eritrean, who was completely innocent, he was an innocent taxpayer, consumer, citizen, bystander, motorist. He was murdered by a crowd. The essay would be proud of the Sabra crowd in East Jerusalem, the settler colonialists and their IDFicists, F and A. FYI. The Hasbara is the Torah HaMelech im Tirtzu. They haven't found the burners of the 18-month-old Palestinian yet. Or I haven't read them having found them. And they haven't demolished the houses of those terrorists who killed the whole Dawabashi family. Although I think I might have mispronounced that. I apologize for us Jew jihadis and the Juju mojo in the ghetto in Gaza, eyeless. I'm so ashamed to be Jewish. When I hear about the murder of innocents by Jewish people, in my name and the name of the diesel diasporan Volkswagen Sticker, Steisters, Bender the Scheister, and Zyberg in Futurama. Remember Futurama? Matt Groening. Wenn die Scheiße nicht glänzt auf, wenn sie sich poliert. Us 36 were Zeitzeugen. With the hitting the Wow, Weltanschauung. And so it goes. We wanna gut, mean well, gemütlich, verboten, vorwärts. Dr. Strangelove's Hail, Hebrews in East Jerusalem. Hail, Hebrews in East Jerusalem. Enforcing checkpoints. And Stingray license readers. And Walter Kieran in the Atlantic. If you're not paranoid, you're not paying attention. You haven't got it. You don't understand. It's all being recorded. The traumatizing insemination of the bedbug mainstream, business as usual, highly invasive species-wide global capitalist holocaust. It's all happening. It's shaping up. And who will have been able to say with 2020 hypo hindsight, who will have been able to say, I told you so. You heard it here first. It's 1491. It's 910. It's 78, 910 in Lindaland. And you are mainstream Maribified. Baba Olatunji, Drummond, Ganas and Cajones, Tail Mary, it's a tailgate party. Give me a double sawbuck to see Roland Ferrulo and Fiorello and Godspell and Goodspeed and Wassail and Crystal Nacht, Heilige Nacht, Heilige Hitler, Ashkenazi neo-Nazi, hate speech, self-apologizing, pro-Philo-Semites, and Der Schwitz, time immemorial, erasing the history of the past, and substituting JNF, Green Revolution. You wonder, when all is said and done, is this how it is? Is this how it's going to be? Is this what it's like to be enlightened in the Epinka, in the Kensho, in the Moksha, the Satori, in the epi-suchness of everyday, plain, vanilla, vulgar, variable life? You take a deep breath and you inhale your cannabinoids and your endorphins, endogenously produced or otherwise. You never know about sponsorship or chocolate or ritual. The right ritual, you circle around the stupa clockwise and you wonder, hitting the wow, where, here, mean well, give the benefit of the doubt that you've been given, pass it all around, the circle, circumscribe and circumcise yourself. We're all self-circumcised in this era of the uncircumcised and unvaccinated. Don't. They put a chip in your foreskin. Have you ever checked? It's a microchip, a nanochip, a picosec on a parsec. And it's double beta decay on the costas catenoid, the Enipers helicoid, the Hebrews haspara, Torah hamelech. We shall undercome and overreach once again, once upon a time at Woodstock. Heil Woodstock, you could see it then before we even got to Altamont. You take a deep breath. Gunif Griftopia, Mazel Tov, Gemütlichkeit, Bar Mitzvah in the Mikvah. It's time. The time.